A hiker found a strange door high on a cliff. What was inside shocked him. High in the remote, windswept peaks of the Colorado Rockies, a professional climber named Liam was making his way up a treacherous, unmapped cliff face. About halfway up, he spotted something that didn't belong. The perfect, rectangular outline of a man-made doorway carved directly into the solid granite. After forcing his way past a barrier of rotted wood and rusted metal, he stepped into a dark, cold tunnel that had been sealed and forgotten for decades. He had no idea at that moment, but he had just stumbled upon a lost and forgotten entrance to one of the most secret and secure military installations on the entire planet, a real-life fortress built deep inside a mountain to survive the end of the world. To understand the impossible place that Liam had just found, we must first travel back to the most dangerous and paranoid period in human history, the Cold War. In the 1950s, the United States lived under the constant, terrifying shadow of a potential surprise nuclear attack from the Soviet Union. The greatest fear was of a massive fleet of Soviet long-range bombers flying over the North Pole and dropping atomic bombs on American cities with little to no warning. To defend against this existential threat, the United States and Canada formed a joint military command in 1958 called the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD. Its mission was simple and monumental: to monitor the skies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and provide the earliest possible warning of an impending attack. NORAD's first command center was built on the surface, but military planners quickly realized a horrifying truth. With the advent of Soviet intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, a surface-level command center could be wiped out in a decapitation strike in less than 30 minutes. They needed a place that could survive a direct nuclear hit, a nerve center that was truly invulnerable, from which they could detect an attack and coordinate a response even as the world outside was ending. The decision was made to build the ultimate fortress. They would not build it on the ground. They would build it inside a mountain. The site they chose was Cheyenne Mountain, a rugged 9,570-foot granite peak overlooking the city of Colorado Springs. In 1961, one of the most ambitious and incredible engineering projects of the Cold War began. For the next 5 years, teams of miners worked around the clock, blasting and drilling their way deep into the solid granite heart of the mountain. They excavated nearly 700,000 tons of rock, enough to build a modern aircraft carrier. They carved out a vast network of chambers and tunnels, a space large enough to hold a multi-story city, all nearly a half-mile deep inside the mountain. Inside this man-made cavern, they constructed a city. They built a complex of 15 freestanding, multi-story steel buildings. And then came the most ingenious part of the design. The entire city of buildings does not actually touch the rock of the mountain. The entire complex rests on over 1,300 massive 100-pound springs. These giant springs were designed to act as colossal shock absorbers, allowing the entire city inside the mountain to shift and sway, absorbing the earth-shattering shockwave of a multi-megaton nuclear blast and leaving the command center and its occupants completely unharmed. The entire facility was designed to be completely self-sufficient. It had its own underground power plant, its own massive water reservoirs fed by a natural mountain spring, and a sophisticated air filtration system that could protect its inhabitants from nuclear, chemical, and biological fallout. The final piece of this incredible fortress was its front door. The main entrance to the complex is a tunnel protected by 2 massive 25-ton blast doors made of steel and concrete. These doors are so perfectly balanced that a single person can move them, but when closed and locked, they are designed to withstand a direct nuclear hit. The Cheyenne Mountain Complex was complete. It was the most secure, most secret, and most important military facility in the Western world, the nuclear-proof nerve center of a nation's survival. But what if a place this secret had secrets of its own? We now return to our climber, Liam. He has just broken through the rotted wooden beams of the forgotten door he found on the remote cliff face. He is stepping into a dark, cold tunnel, a place that isn't on any official map, a lost and forgotten corridor into this vast, secret world. What he is about to find has been waiting in the darkness for over 50 years. Liam stepped through the broken barrier and into the dark tunnel. His headlamp cut a sharp, white cone through the absolute blackness. The air was heavy, cold, and completely still, carrying the smell of damp concrete and rust. As he moved deeper, the floor sloped gently downward. He saw a rusted metal rail running along the side of the tunnel and a small, overturned utility cart, its wheels fused with corrosion. It was clear that this was not a natural cave. It was an auxiliary tunnel, likely used for construction or maintenance during the building of the Great Fortress in the 1960s. He kept moving, placing a small reflective safety beacon every 50 feet to mark his path. At the end of the first corridor, he found a doorway, partially blocked by a rockfall. He carefully cleared the debris and stepped into a larger room. It looked like an old, abandoned bunkhouse. Rusted metal bed frames were lined up against the wall, their thin, moldy mattresses turned to dust. On a small table, a cracked coffee mug lay next to a scattering of scientific notebooks, their pages warped and unreadable from decades of dampness. As he explored the room, Liam noticed something strange. A section of the far wall looked newer than the rest, its concrete smoother. He tapped on it. It sounded hollow. He pressed around the edges and found a hidden seam. With some effort, a large section of the wall slid sideways, revealing a narrow, steep stairwell descending even deeper into the mountain. As he stepped down, the temperature dropped sharply. This lower level felt different. It was a scene of chaos, frozen in time. Chairs were knocked over, old maps were torn from the walls, and there were piles of burnt papers in metal waste bins. File cabinets stood open, their drawers empty. It was as if the occupants had left in a violent, panicked hurry, trying to destroy all evidence of their work. In one of the back rooms, behind a broken desk, Liam found a damaged, leather-bound journal. The name on the cover was still legible, Dr. Harold Keane. He opened it. Many pages were ruined by moisture, but some entries had survived. The early pages, written in a neat, scientific hand, confirmed that Dr. Keane was the leader of a geology team from 1964. Their official mission was to study the stability of the granite and the movement of underground water systems within Cheyenne Mountain. But after a few weeks, the tone of the journal began to change. The handwriting grew messier, more agitated. Dr. Keane wrote about strange, anomalous gas pockets they had discovered, and of minor, unexplained tremors shaking the tunnel walls. Then the entries became truly bizarre. "The mountain groaned again last night," one line read. It felt alive. The final, barely legible entries were short, fragmented sentences, the writing of a man in a state of pure terror. "Something's wrong with the air. Heard voices in the dark. The mountain is breathing. I know that sounds crazy, but we all felt it. It's alive." Liam closed the journal, his skin crawling. The team of geologists hadn't just left. They had been terrified of something deep inside the mountain. He continued deeper, his own unease growing with every step. At the end of the final corridor, he found it. A thick, massive, steel vault door, the kind used for a bank or a high-level military bunker. It was sealed with heavy bolts, and painted across its rusted surface in large, messy, faded red letters was a chilling, hand-painted warning: "Do not open. We couldn't contain it." Liam froze, his light fixed on the words. Contain what? The gas? The tremors? Or something else, the voices in the dark that Dr. Keane had written about? Behind the vault, he saw a dark, vertical shaft that dropped straight down into blackness, a cold, chemical-smelling air rising from its depths. He remembered the newspaper articles about the missing team of 6 geologists who had vanished from this very area in 1964. This was their tomb. This was their final, desperate warning. Liam backed away slowly. He understood that some mysteries were better left unsolved, and some doors should never, ever be opened. He reported his find anonymously to the authorities, sending the GPS coordinates and a few of the less revealing photos. The only reply he ever received was a short, unsigned email that said, "We appreciate your concern. For your safety, please do not return to that site." A few weeks later, he checked the official topographical and satellite maps of the area online. The entire region around the cliff face had been quietly redacted, marked simply as a restricted government area. The mountain had sealed its secret once more. Liam, knowing the story was too important to be completely buried, shared a censored version of his footage online, leaving out the exact location, telling the world about the mystery he had found, the lost team of scientists, and the vault door with its terrifying warning. A warning that still stands today in the cold, silent darkness deep in the heart of the mountain.